I do like once in a while a Labatt 50.
See, there you go. That's Scott's one too. So there you go.
Well, it's not like
50
it's like I
it's
can.
good,
Yeah, it's not like I'm never gonna go out and buy some if I'm in the bar with no choices and there's Labatt 50.
It was supposed to be lightning. Shut up.
Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C, Certified Brewhead, and welcome to another episode of BAOS Podcast, episode 39. I am here with two awesome, attractive French gentlemen from the Wild Shack. Please introduce yourself, boys. don't all go at once.
My name is Max.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, I'm Remi.
Okay, beautiful. So we're here in... that was so simple.
I love this guy.
Hey, it's better. So we're here in Hochelaga. So these guys are we were talking about this before, I don't like to call you guys homebrewers. I feel like that's borderline disrespectful for what you do, because you guys are like professional homebrewers or professional / homebrewers.
So let's say, I don't know, semi-professional brewers.
Okay.
Glorified? Glorified homebrewers.
Glorified way.
I like saying that.
So can you guys give us a 30-second elevator pitch on the Wild Shack? Like, what is it? What do you do? Like, what are you about?
We brew.
You brew beer.
Yeah, we love to brew beer. We're always been like sour fans, wild ales fans, so we mainly brew with everything that is bread, Pezio, lacto, sour stuff, wild stuff. A lot of saisons, a lot of IPAs. We don't brew much dark stuff, but it's mainly because it's not. Yeah, but it's mainly not what we drink normally.
Right.
So the Wild Shack just started because we wanted to brew our own stuff and get creative, and
it just kept going.
Now we're here.
Now you're here. So I don't know where I can start. Should we crack a beer first? We're gonna drink a whole, I think we've got 9 different.
Yes, we have.
I haven't counted. There's a bunch.
I think it's all. There's enough. It's gonna be a problem. So maybe we should crack the first one, and I want to start getting into some history and stuff. So what are we starting with?
We're gonna start with Clément, which is a saison.
Okay.
Around 4.5% alcohol.
Okay.
It's super smooth, dry up with the Waimea.
Yeah.
Belle saison yeast.
What's the hop? Waimea?
Waimea. New Zealand hops.
Interesting. I was gonna say it sounded like.
To me, it tastes a lot like a Clementon.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think it really is an underdog as for hops. Not much people use Waimea, and we personally really love it.
Right.
Yeah. It's not too hard to get, and it's not like like Citra. You want to get Citra as a home brewer,
right?
It can get tricky. You might have to order and get it through mail and blah 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 because it's not always available. But Waimea always is, and it's a great
to drink. Okay, amazing. So this is a bit more, like, I guess more, I was going to say standard, I don't know if that was the right word.
Yeah.
As far as it's not like funky as hell, it's not like crazy sour or anything like that.
We thought we would start
start off nice
quiet.
and light. So this is a pretty, do you want to talk us through this one? Pretty clear, a little cloudy.
Well, it's really classic saison, really simple grain bill, best saison yeast, which we don't use a lot of. Actually, we mainly use culture of wild yeast. Okay. We don't use a lot of regular leaf, of regular sack. Okay. And this is a dry yeast widely available, and we really love like the fruity character it gets.
Right. Okay. This was good. Can we go in?
Dig in.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting. Let's do it. Cheers. All right. This is like one of the more chill saisons I've ever had, as far as not super sweet.
It's
we don't.
It's dry.
Interesting.
That's how I like it. It's 4.5%,
yeah.
So it's
still fruity.
Easy
drinking, right?
Yeah. We love to crush beer, so this needs to be crushable. It's a little saison at 4.5. You don't want it bulky. You don't want it sweet. Well, we don't want it that way.
Right? No, you can't. No, this is fantastic. I've never had anything like this before from a saison. I can definitely taste that those hops. Super good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So all right. So how did you guys? Can you guys tell us your story? Like each of you, I want to know how you both got into beer and how. Like, what's the deal? Like, how did it end up here? Because like, I don't know if we can cut to some B-roll, but you guys got bottles over the entire house. There's like yeast cultivating. There's cowboys. There's an incredible cellar, which we'll talk about after. Like this, you guys. This is like. Clearly your life. This is everything.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us like your stories? Like people seem to. It's very interesting to see how people get into beer and what their kind of path is.
Yeah, first I started liking craft beer a few years ago. Maybe 10 years ago, I was working at Resto Pub Saint-Genis,
Okay.
where at ETS, where the guy from À la Fût were doing their studies,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
we had some beer of À la Fût there, and I started drinking it, and it was like, that's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Where do you sell those beer other than here? So they tell me to go to Coin du Lutte. I went there and was like, whoa, there's so much beer. So
And even 10 years ago, it was pretty crazy.
yeah,
Yeah?
crazy.
It was starting.
Yeah,
It was starting. But I mean, from a dude who...
it was crazy for a newbie.
I was gonna say, if you're drinking like Coors and stuff, and all of a sudden you come in here and there's like even like 100 different beers, you're like, whoa! Like,
I think in the last 10 years, the
Trudeau
scene
wasn't
just...
even on the shelf
really? Eh?
at that time.
Damn.
So it was Du Ciel and Micro d'Orléans,
Right.
À la Fût, just some big growlers, Pit Caribou even, just some big growlers.
Right.
I started really enjoying beer, and then I went to work at Les Sagres. And I know this guy since forever.
Right.
He was looking for a job, so we hired him, and I just passed my passion.
Right. So you brought Remi into it.
I was already drinking a bit of that
Right.
beer, you know, like Unibrew, like everyone in Quebec says forever.
Right.
But yeah, when I started working there with him, like first morning, we're drinking stouts. Like at 8 in the morning, me and Max sharing a stout. Like, yeah, okay,
It's
cool.
pretty good, alright.
And
But you didn't really know
and
much about it at the time.
I remember exactly the moment when I said, okay, shit, I need to get more beer like this. And you know how I told you we're not that much into dark stuff, but we
Yes.
used to. You know, we
Right.
drank a lot of it. I think we kind of grew tired of it. We
Right.
like something more crushable, less of a sipper. you know?
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So and one day Max took out from his closet.
3-year-old Imperatrice from
Trou du Diable.
Diable.
The
It was-
one, I think it was the first batch ever of Imperatrice in bottles, like the bourbon barrel aged version.
Right.
And I really blew my mind, so I started, you know, getting some private imports and just raiding stores for beer, stashing beer, aging beers.
Right.
And then I got my passport, started going to the States, started trading some beers. Then we started brewing, and it just,
Got out of control.
yeah, yeah.
As you can
That's
tell.
the right choice of word.
Or maybe it's totally in control. Who knows? Okay, that's fascinating. So how long ago did the Wild Shack as essentially a professional home brewery start? Like, how did that begin?
Actually, at first, that was just me because we've always been brewing together. But I went to one of my friends to show him how to brew. We wanted to learn a bunch of stuff, and I brewed like my first sours there, my first mixed fermentation beer. Because you know we've been reading about it and getting information and about brewing and wildies and everything for years before that.
Right.
So when I got into it, it was like,
Good
straight up,
to
let's go,
Yeah.
let's go to that. Like, I had only a few brew under the belt, and my buddy really wanted to learn to brew, so I went to his place, brewed 2 batches, and I called it the Wild Shack.
Right.
And
Was it like funky sour?
yeah,
stuff,
it
or-
was a bread IPA
Right.
and sour saison. The first batch of Decepticon ever was my first sour, and later we're gonna drink.
Become your
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Beautiful.
Yeah, so since I called it that, and then me and Max wanted to like really brew a bunch more and get innovative and try a bunch of different stuff. So we bought ourselves like a really more legit kit, so we can brew 20 liters because we used to brew 1 gallon.
Right.
Well, that's like
With the
8
tiny-
beers.
Yeah. Wait a month to drink
2
8
people, 8 beers. Like
beers. Yeah.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It really
afternoon.
doesn't work. So when we start again, we just kept the name Wild Shack, and we just started from there. Maybe seriously, the real Wild Shack started maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Right.
A year and a half.
A year and
Year
a
and a
half.
half. That's pretty.
It's just
full-on.
we're like I said, we're really informed. We read a lot. We have a lot of friends who brew. We've been in the beer scene for a while.
Yeah.
And we're also a bit crazy, so for the past year and a half, we've been brewing 1 to 3 times a week.
Right. That's a
Like
lot.
most of brewer can brew 10 batch a year.
Right.
We can brew that in a month.
Right.
So
Minimum.
that's how it
Yeah.
escalated really quickly.
Right. So yeah, we met at L'Espace Public because you guys had this collab with them. I thought that was super cool because from what I have seen, I think you guys are probably the first home brewers. Once again, I still don't like using that for you guys, but like to actually collab with a known.
Actually, we're not the
pub.
first.
Not the first?
No, we're not.
The first that I was aware of. Okay, so there's been others that have.
No, we're not the first. Actually, we have two friends that did that a few times.
That
but
not Matthias or any of those dudes? There's
Matthias
yeah.
that did this beer with La Barberie, if I remember
in
correctly.
Nice.
He's actually brewing right now at Kronen.
Well, you see?
Jeez.
And there's there's Yves HP who brewed with the spouse a few times. L'Insult, yeah, Martin from L'Insult who brewed with Le Cheval Blanc.
Oh.
So there's been a few, but I think we're one of the first to do as many as that.
Yeah, okay.
And we have a bunch coming also, and
with different places.
It's just a beginning.
Right, and how...
We're not stopping.
No, absolutely. When was the first collaboration with a larger brewery, like a commercial brewery?
It was with L'Espace Public.
That one with the Northeast?
No.
Oh,
there was a third one coming out. There's already a fourth one in the fermenter right now.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
What were the first two?
It was the Steven Seagulls.
You like that?
That's good. I love ridiculous beer names.
Which was a Goza, 100% bread colostomy,
Nice.
with lemon zest and pink salt.
And coriander.
And coriander.
Yeah.
Nice. And what was
That
the
was
second
our first
one?
professional collab.
And what was the second one?
The second one
Was that alligator?
The second one is not released yet.
Yeah,
So we don't-
actually.
So that means okay, so it's because it's still sitting on it.
Yeah.
So you did that second, then you did the IPA.
The second one we brewed was with Pat at Sutton,
Right.
and
Okay.
it's sitting in barrels right now.
Nice. All right, so we don't have to go into it. It's all secret. So how does one go? So for the homebrewers out there, like we've been really trying to push more of the homebrew side of things. As we're starting to get into it a lot heavier, and I feel like there's a lot of people out there who keep hitting us up, and there's a lot of people just into brewing it themselves. It's not that expensive, and it's a fun hobby to learn. So how does one go from nailing it at home? You guys have really got your thing down. You've niched into sours. How does it go from that to working with even you're not putting out bottles with these dudes yet, but you're it's a pretty big deal. Like I can imagine that being like, even though if you weren't the pioneers of it, it's a pretty big deal to have commercial brewers want to put out beer with you guys and sell out in a week. Mm-hmm. So how does that happen?
Well, actually, Max just went to Simon from L'Espace and went like, "Do you want to brew up?" And he said, "Yes." Couldn't finish the sentence.
I know the guys from L'Espace Public for a while.
We're right next to it. We live
Of course, yeah, around the
5
corner.
minutes away from it, and
Yes.
we've been there since they opened.
So you already had a relationship.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I just went to see them. Hey, do you want to do a call? Yeah, both Frank and Simon was sure.
Let's do it. Like,
Okay, thanks.
let's figure it out.
And since we're brewing collaboration, we're always with the brewer, or like the New England IPA was brewed with actually the assistant brewer,
Right.
Cal, which we love. Hi, Cal.
Okay. What up, Cal?
Okay. And since we're with them, they know, professional equipment is not the same as homebrew equipment.
No, it is not.
So it's all the pumps and stuff that.
Dials.
You gotta put everything together, and you're not sure about what you're doing, so that's what
You need them.
Yeah, you need them for that, and now we're getting more and more
Like
acquainted.
experience
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah.
And has
So
that been a... Go on,
But
sorry.
for the rest, for like mashing, boiling,
It's the same
everything,
concept,
it's
right? It's
pretty much the same. There's a few little things you gotta know about this and that, but basically brewing is brewing.
Right. So
And if you brew on a shitty kit, and you get with that professional kit, if your beer is good on a shitty kit, it's most likely going to be really good on a professional kit.
Right. Okay.
Because there's a lot of things that you don't have to care as much about on a professional kit.
Right. Because it...
Like
why is that, like-
all those little things, like the air getting in your fermenters that can oxidize your beer and stuff like that. Because over there they have everything to purge with oxygen and blah blah blah.
Right.
So that's a good thing for
Right.
us. Yeah.
So that learning curve, is it like it's pretty straight? It's not that steep. Like as far as it's pretty easy to.
It's really all about the equipment.
Right. That's the main problem.
That's the
why-
thing you gotta learn again when you get on the professional kit.
Okay.
Because all the pumps, like I said, and everything, and how to sanitize and wash everything with the pump, and that's mainly what you gotta learn. You're not gonna learn again to brew,
Right,
Because the technique, the grain bill, the hop bill, the fermentation time, and everything will stay
Stay
almost the same.
right.
even for that, for fermentation, they have controlled temperature.
Yeah, because they got the big thing around.
Here we
where,
choose
like,
where we
cupboards,
ferment in the apartment.
Yeah, put a little blanket over it or something.
Yeah.
What are you guys' perspective on the Quebec beer scene? Like, how do you feel? I mean, you guys clearly, like you're saying, you travel for beer. You know what's popping everywhere else. How do you feel overall? Where does it stand compared to the rest of the world, or at least the other cities nearby?
It actually depends on which styles. I think Quebec always been a bit behind, but we have a great scene.
Okay.
We have a great scene. We have great people, interested people, and everything is evolving really, really fast.
Seems to be that way. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the US always been a little 10 years.
Ahead. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of the world.
on New England IPAs.
Yeah.
Like they,
No one
like
has known them,
three hours, 2 of them, they perfected the style. Here it's starting.
Like very few and far between.
Yeah.
I can count them with it's like less than.
Like
10.
Haiti was available 10 years ago.
No.
We just got there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Why is that?
Same thing for wild ale and sours. I think that they're
Because America's got that.
And let's
yeah.
not talk about Belgium because
That's a whole other story.
Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like they got Belgium like.
It's been centuries.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
literally,
it.
right.
Like, yeah, of course you can't compete with that, but we're getting there. It's just it keeps getting better, and
Right.
and for us, it's exciting. Like that's
Right.
why we want to take. We want to be one of those people, like just
ahead of the game.
yeah.
So
Just trying to get the beer scene just better and
Push
better
it.
and better and push it and
Yeah.
do new things.
to continue that. So then because when you guys did the Northeast IPA, like I'm obsessed with that right now, just because I haven't been able to have these damn beers, right? And they're in my face on Instagram constantly.
We'll brew more,
So-
promise.
Thank you guys. Thank you. So the fact that I can think between Ontario and Quebec that I'm most familiar with, I can count on one, maybe 5 to 7 different Northeast IPAs that I'm aware of, and I ask everybody about it, and I feel like people are telling me if it's around. So the fact that out of Ontario has the most breweries, I think, in Canada, and Quebec is pretty close, but second, I think. Something like that. There's still like
Let me
significant-
count. I'll be right.
Please,
back.
please. There's like literally hundreds. I think there's like 400 or 500 or something in Ontario.
Yeah.
Something like that, like a lot. And if there's so many breweries, but there's only like 5 to 7 Northeast IPAs, when right now that's where the needle's moving. That's where the trend
Well,
is in the States.
haven't you noticed a transition? Let's say BAOS. First batch
Yeah.
Jutsu was clear as day, was like regular IPA, and now it's
moving.
juicy. It's
Right.
really northeast style.
Right.
Like they're.
But they're catching up slowly.
yeah.
But okay, so 2
But
questions.
when you're brewing that much beer, that quantity, you gotta tweak your recipe. You can go like,
Constantly.
okay, tomorrow I brew a northeast IPA. I never did that.
Right. So they got to test it more because they have a
they're gonna do
reputation.
some tests. They're gonna get it there slowly, and then poof! Oh, suddenly Jutsu is like the juiciest beer I ever had.
All of a sudden. Okay. So why, like, are you guys, because you're sort of homebrewers and you're not, like, you don't have this sort of like the same constraints that a professional brewery has, does that make you more flexible and nimble? Meaning that if you
Of
see a
course,
trend,
we
you
brew
can do
small
whatever.
small quantities.
Right, small quantities and there's less
I'm not gonna be
stress.
stuck with 1,800 liters of beer that nobody wants because I fucked it up.
Right. Okay. So then, why do you think that like from if you're in the beer industry, like I'm like a media or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just watching as a fan, and I'm looking at like at least the past 6, maybe 12 months. Like I've noticed that Northeast IPAs are just taking over my Instagram feed. All the people I'm following are obsessed with it. Not even just those guys, but like Monkish in LA and I guess Night Shift, Bissell Brothers, all those like other breweries
Yeah, they're all
are really in that
yeah.
trend. So I'm curious as to why do you think it takes so long for somewhere like the breweries out here to catch on? I'm not shitting on anyone specifically. Like, why is it taking them so long? So only a couple of them have done it.
I don't think it's that easy to brew a New England IPA. It's
Okay.
really like, even from water profile, you gotta go
Certain things,
a
right?
totally different idea.
Right.
Like even just for treating your water.
Right.
If for the grain beers, totally other story than those West Coast IPA that we're used to, like
Right.
those sweet caramelly IPAs with like a high bitterness.
hop
It's a
bombs,
total
right.
opposite. It's like fluffy, juicy body with a lot of residual sugar, but it's not caramel. That is just round and like fluffy in your mouth.
Stop it.
And
Stop it.
and instead of like that really like most of the time grapefruit like
Yeah.
bitterness, you're gonna have like that tiny little resinous bitterness
Bitterness.
with a lot of big fruit. You're gonna
Right.
not gonna put almost any hops in the boil. You're gonna do like hop stand and two dry ups. Dry up at the end of fermentation. You're gonna use a
Like lupulin powder or something.
you're gonna use a yeast that's gonna normally like regular West Coast IPAs are gonna attenuate a lot.
Right.
Not the yeast you're gonna use for New England style IPA to leave some residual sugar, even if you're not using stuff like caramel malts and stuff. You're
Right.
gonna have that sweetness by not attenuating completely.
Right.
And then with the first dry up, with those kind of low flocculation yeast, you're gonna get like big A's, and you're gonna work with so much more proteins, which means
Right.
you can get stupid mash tuck.
Right. So
Yeah,
it's-
like a
it's
lot
intense.
of oats and stuff like that.
So it sounds like
So-
a much more complicated process, yeah?
Yeah, I would say
It's
so.
different.
And oxygen and New England IPA,
Like
homebrew scale, I think is one of the hardest thing to do.
Right.
I'd rather do a sour that's gonna take me a year and a half than do a New England IPA on my homebrew kit,
Right.
because oxygen and those kind of beers, like, it's gonna oxidize so quickly. You put it in bottles, 3 weeks later it might be
Gone.
brown and without flavors, and you have no idea why except oxygen. But they don't have that. That's why New England IPAs gotta be in kegs.
That's what
If
I-
you do it
or
homebrew
can.
style, do it in a keg.
Hmm.
Avoid as much oxygen as you can, because you might get trouble.
Right.
It's really not. IPAs is the first thing we ever brewed
Yeah.
together. First thing, like regular old school IPA, like 4 years back.
Right, right.
and wasn't hard.
Right.
Brewing a New England IPA is
different game.
Yeah.
But for your base question about
Yep.
the styles in Quebec is a bit late.
Yeah.
I think the law with the SRQ and stuff, there's we don't have example of
New things. Yeah.
new things of
Right.
beer from the States, of New England IPA. The first New England IPA was probably the Nordet, or the
Probably.
first batch of IPA from the Trois Mousquetaires.
Right.
But they knew the beer outside. But for most of the brewery, it's a small world. They say, oh, they're doing that, we're going to try to do
But they're
something like that.
Within the province. They're not looking outside. They're looking
Yeah.
like, right.
Yeah, it's a small community, and it's really into itself, because we don't have access to a lot of beer from everywhere,
Elsewhere.
except from the SRQ, which have nothing.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Right.
You drive to any LCBO, you're gonna find beer from the States, from Belgium, from Germany, from everywhere.
Yeah.
And here we don't get that. We only sell our own beer. Like
Right.
BAOS, they wanted to sell here. They had to open an office
Yeah,
here.
the warehouse and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And mills.
So that's how they were. So they're kind of putting us back, I think, that way. Because, when you get a really, really different kind of beer that's what you're used to, that comes from the United States, it gives me an idea.
Right.
That's why we started doing trays and stuff, and because we wanted to try everything.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
So you guys were proactively going after these new styles, and because I you can use that same, why aren't the brewery owners doing the same thing? You think it's like research and development for your own
Yeah,
industry. So
yeah.
they should be looking at, we're here in Montreal. We're an hour and a half from Burlington. Dudes here, I don't know, maybe it just makes sense to me. They should be like, all right, where is this going? Now I understand that America is 10 years ahead, and we're only just getting on sours and blah blah blah. Maybe Canadians' taste profiles aren't ready for it yet, and maybe I'm just getting too excited because I'm a beer nerd and I want to see more of them here. But I feel like that. I'd like to see more tests of the market. That's why I like what you guys are doing, because you're doing crazy shit, and
I think that's why people
are
here,
attracted to you, right?
Yeah, thinks we do crazy shit.
when
because-
compared to the States, it's probably not that crazy.
Well, it's not. It's more.
Well-
You're gonna see more of it in the States than you're gonna see here. That's why people get a bit more excited about like the
Oh,
fruit
right, 'cause
sours
it's
and
rare.
stuff. Because over there in the States, it's a lot of brewery doing that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it. Of course,
So
they don't brew it just like we do, and it's every brewery has its own taste, its own
Of course,
little things.
little,
but
like-
when you're not used to it, of course, it's.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, that's crazy.
We've been drinking stuff in the States, like, they got Casey's Side Project, like a lot of lambics and stuff like that for years. So for us, it's just what we love.
Right. So what's the ultimate goal? Like, you guys want your own place, your own brewery, your own brew pub.
Yep.
Like, what's the
It's to brew beer that we like.
right?
That's it.
It's brew and share.
Brew and share. So are you looking to do that so that you don't have to work any other jobs, and like you guys want to own a facility?
That's our dream.
Right.
Of course.
Of course. Right.
To have a successful brewery and be able to share what we love doing and be paid for it. Who doesn't want to do that?
No, of course, right? Are you?
And it's not even about the money. Seriously, give me less money I'm doing now to do what I love. I'll
You're
do
good
it.
to go.
Oh yeah. I'll
How
do it.
far off would you guys say that you are from?
We're actually
Yeah, we BrewHeads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
After everything, I think it's gonna be our biggest homebrew tasting.
Homebrew? Okay.
yeah. I think it's gonna be our biggest Wild Shack share. I think you got the most different bottles from the shack we
Of all
ever
time.
cracked in one single night.
It's pretty intense. This will make it 10. There's still a couple more. Like, Jesus
Well,
Christ.
you told me I'm down for how many beers you want to crack. You don't say that to us. That's like the biggest mistake you ever made in your life.
We still have
To go-
3 more aged Wild Shack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still like in the.
This can go on for a while.
forever and ever.
It-
Where can everybody find you guys online?
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah, we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. The Wild Shack.
Yep.
Simply.
Everywhere.
Yep, we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Just if you want to sample a beer, just send us a message. You can swing by, have a beer. We're good people.
Give it a crack.
And yeah, you can always find us on tap at least once every month, every 2 months at Espace Public.
Which is out in Ontario and Hochelaga here in Montreal.
Exactly, 5 minutes on foot from here. So if you know where Espace Public is, you pretty much know where we're at.
And it's good to go.
Yeah, and there's gonna be we're gonna be on tap at Sutton, where we're gonna be on tap at vice versa. Just
Everywhere.
follow us, drink us, enjoy us, and come and share a few beer with us.
I love it. Guys, it doesn't get any more welcoming than that. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for the podcast. It's been a great chat. Now, officially, not only it's the biggest bottle share of Wild Shack, it's also the longest BAOS podcast of all time. So we got 2 records in one night. I really appreciate it, guys. Seriously, it's been a fantastic chat. I hope it
Thank you.
was helpful for the homebrewers out there, because we don't really get a chance to talk to guys like yourselves that have deep knowledge of this stuff. So hopefully it was inspiring for the folks who are really getting into homebrewing. So if you enjoyed the episode, throw us a review and a rating, and subscribe on iTunes. Head over, you can check us out on YouTube and all social media at BAOS Podcast. Follow us, give us a shout, hit up the Wild Shack. We'll put all the info in the description. That's it, y'all. We're going to keep drinking. Cheers.